all right, it's the end of the year. The tree's dry, if it's real. The stockings are questionable. And we are doing what everyone should do, a full year-end December sex audit.
Yeah, forget vision boards. This is about reflecting on what actually turned you on, turned you off, and what you're leaving behind in 2025.
That's right. We'll each take a category, what we said no to this year, what surprised us, and what we're bringing into 2026. So grab your cocoa or your vibrator and let's debrief.
Welcome to Taboo Talks, Not Safe for Brunch, where nothing is off the table. We're diving into real conversations about sex, relationships, and self-discovery with zero shame and a whole lot of sass. I'm Coralie, tuning in from Vancouver. My superpower is going deep down rabbit holes and getting to the real root of things.
And I'm Amber. I'm based in Ontario and proudly blunt. I cut through the fluff and get straight to what matters.
I'm Vicky, and I'm from Manitoba, and my magic is creating real connection because intimacy starts with trust.
Grab your mimosa, your matcha, or whatever turns you on, and let's dive in.
All right, so let's talk about how saying no is often, it can be, the most empowering sexual choice. I think it's really important to be able to give ourselves grace, especially at the end of the year when we're looking back at what we liked and what we didn't, and what worked and what didn't. I think this is the ultimate in the sex decompress conversation that I like to have after every time they have an encounter. So I think this is great. So, for example, at the end of the year, you can start having a chit chat. Sit down with your partner and just discuss like what they liked and what they would like more of or less of. I think it's a true opportunity to figure it out and create a map. We do it for so many other places in our life. What are the kids' lives going to look like in this next year? What are our lives? Are we going to take that promotion? Are we going to do these things? But no one's talking about how are we going to feed our personal relationship. And of course, you guys know I like to start with me first.
Yeah, I think oftentimes we might assume that a happy couple is doing it all the time regularly. And, you know, what was really one of my big revelations for the year, if you're new here, at the end of last year, I ended up in emergency surgery with an ostomy that I had until April. And people just assume because I'm in this industry and I've been in this industry for 20 years, you know, all sorts of assumptions about our sex lives when I had an ostomy. And for us, it was just off the table for a long time. And that was okay. You know, like neither one of us felt like our relationship was in jeopardy or in shambles or anything like that because our sex life suddenly went from pretty rabbit-like to like hibernating bears. But what's actually really cool about that time frame now that I'm looking back is that it actually bonded us a lot more because we were connecting in so many other ways because it was the first time really in our relationship, aside from when I had kids, that my husband really had to like fully just take care of me. I was a sick patient.
Yeah.
I was like the Canadian patient, like the English patient, and he had to take care of me. And it was like, you know, so there was no sex, nothing was happening. But if anything, I think it made us stronger, you know, going through that.
It's incredible. Hey, trauma has this way of reframing everything that we know to be true.
Right.
Right. So I think it's really important to sort of remember like where you were in your relationship. If something happens that is traumatic, or even it can feel traumatic when we've heard a no too many times, or when we're always the initiator, or all of that stuff. It's really important to sort of take that back and go, how did I feel? And if we've had those pre-conversations where we know that we're on solid ground, then when something crazy happens, it's not quite as impactful. Obviously, very impactful in your case, but I think it just gives us that moment to go, we've got this. As a couple, as a family, we're okay. And I think that only happens when we have a regular decompress, and the idea of looking at what do things look like going forward? How do we manage if we have a challenge? Those are all really huge things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So hearing no, let's talk about that. I mean, we know that those of us who have partners hear no once in a while, and sometimes we're the ones that are hearing no. And that can really take a confidence slam, right? That can change how we feel about the situation. Oftentimes it can make us pull back and go, yeah, I'm not going to ask anymore, or whatever that looks like. It's just kind of a wild situation. But again, if you have this decompress, you can always broach the topic so that you're never in no man's land. You're always in a space of conversation.
Well, I think that's a big key though, because in a lot of relationships, no happens a lot depending on what stage of life that you're in and what's happening. And oftentimes it's like it's one person and then the other person's initiating and then they're hearing no a lot. And I know for us, like it was that way. And I would say no a lot or whatever. And then he did the same thing. He just looked at me and he's like, I'm not asking you ever again. If you want it, come and get it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I was like, shit, am I saying no that much? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
But then it had
we
to become a
sometimes don't
conversation.
recognize it.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And then when I initiated one time when he was like having a really stressful time, and I thought, yeah, this is a great time to initiate because like I'm gonna de-stress him. And he said no. It was just off the table for him. He was too stressed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's how that feels. Cause he like never says no.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Right. Wow. What a moment. Hey.
Mhm.
So it took, and a lot of it was like earlier in our relationship, but I'm like, we had to learn how to have these conversations.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And I think the idea that libido doesn't equal our worth is also really important too, right? Because we think, well, this is what makes him feel whole, right? When we do these things, but it doesn't necessarily, right? Sometimes we need space, sometimes we need connection. And the only way to figure that out is to talk about it. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also too, when that happens, I bet when he came back for that rain check, it was hot. Right?
Well,
Like,
absolutely it was.
right later, he's like, "Remember when I said no? Yeah, changed my mind." And you're like, "Okay, I'm in like 10." Like, let's go. And then we've also talked too so many times on our episodes about how sometimes you're not really into it, but you go for it because you don't want to be the person that says no all the time. And so you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I love that person. And 5-10 minutes in, you're like, I'm so glad I said yes.
Right. Your mind wasn't in it, but like your body is ready to say yes as soon as it starts to happen.
Right.
quite
Yeah.
often. Yeah, quite often. I also think
Mhm.
it's really important for us as women not to mistake nice as honest. We need to be able to have that honest conversation where, like Amber's husband said, "Yeah, I'm not down today." That's something that as women, quite often, we're saying, yeah, okay, we'll make it happen. And yeah, sometimes our body plays catch up and we get there, but then sometimes we're just not having it. And we don't have to say yes because we were trying to save somebody else's feelings, but be honest and have a conversation. I love honesty.
Mhm.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like being kind. You don't have to be nice, but you should be kind,
Yes.
and you can be
Mhm.
honest with kindness.
So what about looking back at 2025 at some unexpected turn-ons that you had and maybe, bring this up with your partner if you have one or get together with your girlfriends and be like, "What was good this year?" Like how desire evolves, it's just so amazing and it's less about novelty and more really about the context and your curiosity. So what kind of turn-ons or unexpected things happened to you guys this year?
Pass.
Yes.
You know what? Actually, I think that for me, I was in a partnered relationship and then I wasn't. And I think that for me, I just learned first of all, it wasn't like a nasty breakup or anything like that. I learned so
Yeah.
much about myself in that connection. And I learned even more about myself moving forward, my needs, my wants, my desires. And I just think that I've really come into who I want to be. At least I'm getting there. I don't know. We're hoping 2026. We're hoping.
For me, yeah, I had a few new experiences this year that I was like, "Oh, I like that." Just things like a little hair pulling, a little kink praise, it was
Oh,
just, 30 years and things still get new and exciting. Wow, yeah, pull my hair and call
Well, and
me
I
a good girl at the same time.
I think that's really important. I love that. I love that for anybody who's had a revelation. And I think it's a true testament that in one relationship, you've got so many different relationships, right? You've got all of these new sort of stimuli that you decide to test drive and try on. And the more solid you are and comfortable you are with that person and the more communication you have, the more you can have those conversations and grow. Because can you imagine if we had sex the same way for an entire 30-year marriage? God, kill
Ugh.
me. That's why I keep getting divorced.
Oh my God. But, I mean, you're not wrong, not about the divorce thing, but you're not wrong that things need to change up. Or like we
Mhm.
all change as we age, and things that maybe felt good or we thought were good in our 20s, totally different 40s and I'm sure 50s.
Mhm.
Yes.
Try new things,
Yeah,
you
there's so
know?
much changing, like, hormonally and as your body, you know, I always say the more orgasms you have, the more orgasmic you become, so your body's responding and becoming, like, more sexual, so why not
Mhm.
explore? And then also too, just, statistically, science says for women, novelty is very important, and if you're in the same relationship for a really long time and you do wanna stay, like, have it be a monogamous relationship, you gotta find ways to switch it up to keep it good, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I
Mhm.
mean, if you always have somebody who's constantly being the take charge person, switch roles.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like, that can change the dynamics completely, and you never know what might happen, and you're like, "Whoa, I really liked that."
Yes.
Or maybe you didn't, and now you know.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. I think I hear so often women who take on a little bit more of a more dominant role or vice versa. And they go, "Oh, I didn't know I had that in me." And I'm like, "Yeah. Yeah. That's
Mhm,
Mhm.
it's
mhm.
important to explore, and that's who we are. We're human beings. Let's do it."
Mhm. Absolutely. So let's talk about some things that we are leaving behind and things we're bringing into 2026. So we might have some old habits that we want to get rid of when it comes to our bedroom time, maybe inviting a little more healthier pleasure, reframing expectations of the bedroom, whether you're single or with a partner, reframing your expectations with yourself. Let's talk about things that we can leave behind. Okay. And this is just an overall. I don't know if anyone else is feeling this way. This isn't necessarily things that I've experienced in 2025, but just things over time. That letting these things go over time will just slow. I don't believe in quick, fast changes that make it. I think drop it little slow changes over the years. So if you don't know what to leave behind, here's some suggestions. Obligation sex.
Yes.
Mhm.
No obligation sex. You're not obligated to do anything.
No.
2, pressure to perform. If yes, like the moaning and the groaning and all that stuff is good, but if you're not an opera singer in the bedroom, you don't need to try to be one. It's not the voice.
No, and I think too, when we feel so much pressure, we don't actually perform at our best.
Right, you're distracting. You're
Absolutely.
distracting from the goal,
Yeah,
right?
not just perform at our best, but we're not getting the damn orgasm either because 'cause we're just overthinking everything.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're also done with comparing our current self and our current sex life with our past self.
Mm,
Because comparison, I know people always say comparison is a thief of joy, but one thing I really believe is comparison is the thief of confidence. It kills
mhm.
your confidence whether you're comparing yourself to someone else or a different version of you in the past. We're always learning, we're always growing, and if we're not growing, then we're dying.
Yes.
So,
Especially when we're talking about sex because we go through these, dips and valleys and peaks,
Mhm.
and it's just it would be impossible to benchmark ourselves against our former self. That's silliness.
yeah, and I think one area that might be really hard is if someone is going through perimenopause or menopause and we've talked about it before, how with the dryness and the atrophy that can happen, and in those situations it can be really hard 'cause you're like, frick, I miss having good sex without worrying about pain or anything like that. And I think it's really important to make sure that you are working with what you have, doing the things that you can to improve it every day as you go into next year, whether that is applying a vaginal moisturizer every day, getting dilators, like things that are going to help you get back to maybe not to where you were, but a new normal where you can at least enjoy sex again, you know? And we're also done. apologizing for libido changes, because it can be so hard, especially as we go through our cycle. I used to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I need to get the magic gel because my body's hormonal. I don't say I'm so sorry anymore. Like,
Mm-mm.
he gets it. It's not you. It's me. I got things going like this. So I might want to, but my body is like, we are going to pretend you are a young woman again where you need 45 minutes of stimulation. I'm like, no, I'm not
Right.
apologizing for that. I'm going to just get the
Well,
magic gel and we're going to keep moving.
and I gotta tell you, let's flip that script. Let's say it's him apologizing to
Right.
us. That's a lady boner killer. If there's anything I hate more, it's than hearing I'm sorry in bed. I swear to God. Ugh, no, thank you. So I think it's a buzzkill. I think that
Yeah.
it creates judgment, even though we don't want to judge. Don't apologize. Just be like, "Whoa, that wasn't quite what I meant to do," or like, we're gonna try this today." Yeah, I think if we frame things affirmatively, it's just so much better.
Absolutely. So let's talk about what we're going to bring in this year. We're going to bring in more communication, our favorite C word, always
Yeah.
more communication, along with curiosity. That's another C word that we love. And my suggestion for that is if you hear about something and you have this visceral reaction, especially a judgment, you're curious. Explore it. um, we're bringing in more rest because when you are more rested, it's helpful for your libido, and always humor because humor decompresses you. It helps you de-stress. So sometimes it's not appropriate to have an orgasm in public, but you can laugh. So there's two different things that can de-stress you. We are going to focus on quality sex, quality, whether it's with yourself or a partner. Quality is always going to be better than quantity. Okay. Always, always, always. And remember that pleasure is part of your self-care. It's not productivity, even though sometimes, we're, even though there could be a goal to like have so many orgasms a year as you might want to, but remember, it's still self-care. It's not about checking things off a list. So you don't want to
I'm
add
not.
stress to your life.
Can I touch on curiosity?
Absolutely.
So I have a client who will actually tell her partner that she learned on our podcast or she learned on our VIP group something new. She didn't learn it from us, but she will say that she learned it from us.
Right.
And that starts the conversation that she wants to have without fearing the judgment.
Mhm.
And I think that's a really brilliant way to use us. I think
I like it.
yeah, like it
Mhm.
just takes some of that ownership off of us as a human saying, "Hey, so I heard about this thing on this podcast that I watched. What do you think about it?" Like I just said that's a great way to be curious and then also to
Mhm.
kind of nudge your partner and figure out where they stand or what they might be interested in as well. So I just thought that was a good way to be curious. I liked it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We will be your fall girls.
All day long. All day long.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use you guys.
Totally. So is there anything you guys personally want to leave in 2025 or bring into 2026?
Hmm.
I'm going to leave behind some self limiting beliefs. I think that I spent the greater portion post divorce thinking that I didn't want a relationship and that I don't want to move forward. I just want to be left alone. I don't know if I feel that way anymore. So I think I'm going to just let myself feel what I feel instead of dictating.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
isn't it?
I'm gonna bring in quality.
Mm.
Quality. Yeah. We're having some more better quality sex. That's what's happening in 2026.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, friend. I'm going to call him and let him know he's in for it.
I'm actually bringing in a better vibe, like we just repainted our bedroom. It's dark, moody. I want it to be like hot, sexy, moody, right? It's like a really dark
It
sage.
is.
I just want
Mhm.
it to scream, this is a good place to do it.
So, if your December sex audit revealed some questionable patterns, congratulations, you're normal.
If it revealed growth, self-awareness, or at least better toy storage, that's a win too.
So here's to boundaries, curiosity, and naps as foreplay. Make sure you go to our website, click on the freebies. We have a digital download so you can do your own sex audit, print it out, fill it out, and have it all in one spot. Thank you so much for joining us this year on Not Safe for Brunch. We wish you all the best in the new year and lots of good orgasms.
Thanks for pulling up a seat at the Taboo Talk Not Safe for Brunch table. If today's chat made you laugh, think, squirm, or all three, do us a solid, like, follow, and leave a review. It's basically the podcast world's version of a good tip.
Want more juicy, unfiltered conversations? Tap the link in the show notes and sign up for our weekly newsletter, your VIP pass to what didn't make it on the air.
Brunch isn't just about the bites and bubbles. It's about showing up real, raw, and ready to talk about what really matters. So until next time, keep it bold, keep it curious, and definitely keep it not safe for brunch.